Hello, guys. Welcome once again to another review of The Real Housewife. We did not do last week because we're so busy, but we're back. We're back like we never left. So we're gonna be talking about the episode. Is this episode 13? I didn't even put it on my title. This episode 13, right?
Ooh, I, I, I am lost up in the soup here. I
Yeah,
don't know.
episode. This is episode 13.
Okay.
This is episode 13. But anyway, we're here to talk about the episode 13 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. Now, by the way, I'm not gonna lie, the way this season has been going has been the greatest disappointment. I thought last season was disappointing. This season is more disappointing. Probably because I put in more faith in this season than last season. It's been so disappointing. Like, man, if not because I love Real Housewives of Atlanta, I would have dropped the show. That's how bad I feel the show is right now. And I'm gonna rate this episode a 2. Oh, what do you have to say about this little girl?
Oh my God. First off, I like to say rest easy to Angela's mom because I seen something about her
Yeah,
mom had passed away. Oh
yeah,
my
she passed
God.
away.
That is so sorry. That's so sad. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry about that.
the episode for that the last last week episode we saw her mom. They were discussing about the situation of their family. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
after that, after a while, the mom passed away.
Jeez, I'm so sorry to hear that. My God, so sorry to see that and hear that. So my heart goes out to Angela and the Oakley family and her sisters and her daughters now, because that's really sad.
Yeah.
But to get on the show itself, um, my rating for it, oh my goodness. I would have to say, mm, I'm. mm, Girl, look, it is so hard to concentrate on this show. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, huh? What are y'all doing? What are y'all talking about? Why is this happening? What are you doing now? Well, this doesn't make no sense. I mean, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's hard to follow. So I would give it a 2.5.
At least you did better than me.
A 2.5. And I only say that because thank God they have the remote control where you can rewind. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't have that,
Yeah.
it just like would this would I even be a part of a podcast? Because this didn't captivate my.
Mm. That's the thing. That is the thing that is upsetting to me because when I heard that season 16 was coming, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun watching the Real Housewives."
Yeah, the new
But
girls.
as Potomac was bad, this is worse.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I said Potomac last season of Potomac was bad. This Real Housewives of Atlanta, we were using I was like, okay, Real Housewives of Atlanta was coming. We're gonna compensate for the bad season of Potomac. But right, yeah, I would choose Potomac's episode to this. Yeah, I'm gonna choose. Because for the first thing I'm hating in this season is the continuation. There'll be the continuation of Porsha and Drew over Dennis and what's his name? Yeah, over Dennis issue. Dennis and Ralph. You filmed with this, you filmed with that, you filmed that. It's so annoying. And we got to also still see it in today's episode,
Right.
right? Where they met up in the restaurant. I was like, okay, maybe this time we're gonna have the ending scenario of this topic, because this topic is the most unserious, the most stupid cooked up story in the history of the Real Housewives. You're filming with that. Like, I don't understand why Portia is getting pissed off. That's the part for me. That is my question, because this guy is your ex. Okay, he's your baby daddy. And we saw him on the studio with Drew. What else do you want to understand? He is a music producer and is in the studio with Drew. What else do you want? And you were able to get your leak back by Shamia inviting you to shoot with Rap.
Right.
And one thing I don't like about Drew is had this once in a while she'll be dropping this. You're sleeping with him, you're sleeping with this, you're dating that. It's giving you a child. What is my business with who Drew is dating if Drew hasn't come out herself and say I'm dating this person? In short, what is Portia's business with who Drew is dating?
Right.
Why is she so concerned about who Drew is dating? Be it Dennis, be it the black, or whosoever. I did not like the way that she literally, even if Drew is dating this black guy that we got to hear about in this episode, I don't like how Portia brought it up.
Yeah, that was kind of low. But you know what?
What
Hey,
of if, yeah,
can I ask you, is Black, is that Candy's uh baby daddy Riley? Is that, was his name Black?
I can't even remember. But
Oh,
his face doesn't look like him. I don't know.
okay.
Because they showed us the picture of the guy in the episode. So
Oh, well, see, I really, it must have didn't have my attention for me to even see that part.
yeah, they did put the picture of the guy. He was standing. Drew took a picture with him and Dennis. But
Oh,
okay, no,
okay.
they didn't. They actually blurred his face. Oh yeah, right now I remember. Yeah, the only person's pictures. It was a picture between Drew, Dennis, and the guy. They blurred
Mm,
his face
mm.
and showed us
Dennis.
Drew and Dennis's face. I guess they are trying to avoid any lawsuits. You know, they have a lot going on in Bravo. So
Mm,
probably they are trying
okay.
to avoid anybody coming for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Mm,
blurred his face. Now I remember. So I wouldn't know whether he's the one. His face was blurred.
mm. Okay.
Yeah. But one thing I'm saying, I just want to put out there, I don't like why Portia is bringing up that name. And the thing is that I feel like Portia, when you start now coming hard for her, she does this. She starts playing the victim, stands up and goes. Like, do you expect Drew to sit down there, take all the embarrassment you want to give to her, and laugh to your face, or tell you, "I'm sorry, ma. I apologize to you, madam." I love how Drew gave it to her. I'm not gonna lie. I love what Drew did to her. I love it because Portia came with this mentality I don't understand. Like, she's bigger than every other person. She's this pop star. She's like, she came with, and I think her ego is getting the better of her. I'm not gonna lie. I like Portia. That's why it's even disappointing that I love Portia,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Right.
she came in with this ego as if she's bigger than everybody. She's the brightest star, and at the end of the day, is the most disappointing season of Portia ever.
Mm.
It's the most disappointing portion. The people that I feel like coming back on the show was unnecessary was Phaedra. I haven't seen Phaedra do anything. She's just been another Cynthia.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Auntie.
Porsha has been a disappointment. The only thing we've heard out of Porsha's mouth has been Drew, Dennis, Drew, Dennis, Drew, Dennis. Yeah, you are sleeping with Dennis. Dennis said you are sleeping with him. How many people? The thing is that I'm getting upset more as I'm talking about it, because the last time she spoke with Drew, she said Dennis. I don't know who she was speaking with. She said Dennis said Drew was trying to come on him, right?
Right.
And he was like, yo, this is just professional. Now the same Dennis is telling you that Drew is dating Black. Which one is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, when did you
Choose
receive all
one.
this information? Are you receiving it all at
Right.
once or little bit by little
Now,
bit?
exactly. If one person comes, one person in front of mine comes and be like, hey, A is dating somebody. Then comes another day and say A is dating C. I'm like, guy, which one? Choose a hustle. Is A dating somebody or A dating C? You can't tell me that one person is dating two people at the same time, coming from your own mouth. It's not truthful. And if the same Dennis came one time and told you, oh, Drew is coming up on me, and the same Brett, he still came and told you that Drew is dating Black, are you supposed to believe anything that man says? But
Yes.
just because it's not you, you are just throwing it out there in the public. Like, since it doesn't affect you, you're throwing it out there. Oh, Dennis told me this. No, I'm like, chill.
Yeah, she's coming with the mud, man. She's throwing it on the wall just to see if it's gonna stick.
What
And
what what did you feel about that scene? The tea scene,
about the what?
when her and Drew were in the tea shop or whatever. What did you feel about the whole scenario that happened between Drew and Portia?
Well, I was glad that, like, Portia's coming back and forth at her, but yet you supposed to have like kind of solved some of this. You know what I'm saying? You said all the, hey, you're a ratchet ass friend and I can't trust you and woo 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 woo. You said all these things to her. You know, she's been trying to explain that, hey, this is just business, woo woo woo. you know Now that you guys are sitting down together, no entourage around you of women, you know I'm just glad that Drew kind of stood up for herself. You know what I'm saying? And don't just let Portia just drag her through the mud like that, because I mean, regardless what Drew is doing, it's like, it's her coochie. Why are you trying to clock it? You know what I'm saying?
Excuse exactly.
Why are you clocking
Exactly.
it? You know what I'm saying? If that's
Why are
what
you
she's
stalking
doing,
it?
that's her world. If that's what she's doing, you know what I'm saying? So I just think Portia
Quit
really
the
doesn't.
stalking.
Yeah, Portia really doesn't. I don't think has anything other to say or do
She doesn't have anything to
on the
offer.
Housewives other than attacking Drew and her character and all this stuff. She's starting to act like Phaedra acted way back, uh when Phaedra was saying, "Oh, Candy got a dungeon and she's gonna lock you up, her and Todd." She's starting to act like a Phaedra from way back then. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with all
Mm,
this wild shit. You know, so
yeah,
it's just crazy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy
yeah.
to me. I don't understand how women like this can, like, conjugate together. You know what I'm saying? Because if
Mm-hmm.
if if you watching you know my best part, if you watching, what attraction I get, like, what are you doing with your life? Why are you sitting over there watching? Do you have binoculars? Are you videotaping this? Are you writing a book? Who are you reporting to? Who sent you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much. So Portia really ain't got too much going on right now. Because she can't talk about Simon and the marriage that she's going through
Mm-hmm.
with the divorce, you know, other than, uh, her baby asks for him. She wants to know where he's at. How many times has she said that? And how many times has she said, I told her he's working? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
She has really nothing else.
Yeah, she has nothing else at all.
This is a shame because you would think she'd be into all kind of shit. Like, what about your businesses? Like, what's up with that?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? What you doing?
Yeah. That's why I said she's the biggest flop of the season.
Yeah.
She's the biggest flop of the season. Now let's go ahead and I before we go ahead and talk about because the episode for me did not it looked very short to me, but there's one part I wanted us to talk about the fact that Kelly was having a chat with her publicist and I think her assistant or something, her friend, I don't know. And they talked about Mark and the fact that Mark like kind of disassociated himself from his kids, like he doesn't want to take care of the kids. Now, I really am one person that doesn't like to blame until I get the full story. But I still understand that no matter what the story is, no matter how the story is, you should never dump your kids, you know, for one person to take care of. For me, I Kelly, that's the first time I kind of sympathized with her all through the season of the show. I kind of felt bad for her, like, and when she almost want to tear up, she's strong. For her taking care of by herself, her two kids, her three. No, she has two twins, right?
Right.
And how many kids does she have?
I, doesn't her intro say she has 4 kids?
Well, I just felt so bad,
Four
so sad for
girls.
her. I felt so sad for her that the husband, when you marry somebody you felt like is someone I'm gonna love till the end, and it doesn't happen like that, then at the end of the day, the person ends up still being a douchebag. It's painful. So I felt bad for her, and I wanted to just show out my sympathy to her, and I hope that she makes it well, and life treats her well to be able to take care of herself and her kids. I just hope it works well for her. Now, the ladies in Grenada, how do you pronounce there? Is it Grenada?
Grenada.
Grenada. The ladies in Grenada was um by Shemia and Kelly. They organized this. It was nice. Um, when they were first sitting down there talking about, the room thing, I first thought, okay, this trip was gonna go nice. There was not gonna be issues, but I was mistaken because fast forward later on, everything started exploding. And besides, I don't, do you notice that Phaedra got missing during this whole scene? The only time I noticed Phaedra was when they said Phaedra will be sharing a room with Angela.
Right.
No, sorry, with Brit. Sorry. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
with Brett.
Angela. That Phaedra will be sharing a room with Brit. That was the only time I didn't notice Phaedra. And also, the time I also noticed Phaedra was the time Brit kind of she couldn't read the room because I don't understand what she was doing. She didn't read the room and she kind of talked about the fact that Apollo and his wife was invited to that event, not by her, but her husband, because her husband knows them, and
Mm,
she wanted to apologize. She didn't want to. I felt like that was typical Brit. She doesn't know when to talk and when to shut up, right?
right.
That was the only time that I noticed Phaedra. But now that we've talked about it, how did you feel about Brit bringing that up? Because for me, I felt just unnecessary.
Yeah, maybe that was her way of small talk or trying to get in a scene with Phaedra, some TV time with Phaedra, because,
Mm,
Phaedra is like all of that
it's a
right now.
huge,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? She's done been on this show, this reality TV show. I mean, Phaedra is a busy woman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she
yeah.
got her hands in everything, you know. and Phaedra makes good TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because she is Miss Messy Boots. She is the bone carrier. You know what I'm saying? But she's a busy person. She could show you different aspects of her life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Besides the messy stuff. Like that's what we kind of want from reality TV, right? We want to know, what do you do other than the reality TV? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Can we see some of this? You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was good to see Phaedra.
Mm. I don't know whether the producer or the editors are supposedly doing it by cutting her out, but she's missing. Now, and let's now go ahead and talk about what happened on the table. We had Drew versus Shemia. I also like how Drew told on Shemia because I feel like I'm gonna be honest. Shemia started off this season looking great in my eyes. But
Right.
as the episode is coming forward, as we're getting almost to the end of the season, I am just like, I'm questioning myself, why was Shemia added in this season? I'm not gonna lie. I'm beginning to question why Shemia was added because she I okay. I don't okay. Now, the way she is charging at Drew, I still question what is happening because she doesn't have a problem with Drew. She's only taking up the enmity that Drew has with, or the beef Drew has with Porsha.
Right.
And for me, that's I hate that thing from the bone of my bone. I hate it so much. When as a friend you have beef with somebody, then you now rope me into something that I wasn't even there when it started. I don't know what it's all about. Or like, okay, because Portia didn't really rope her in. And I feel like, see, when I watched this episode, it gave me a vibe that Shemia is that kind of person that be begging for friendship. I'm not gonna lie. That's what she's giving me. She's that
Right.
kind of friend that the bare minimum is enough for her. You don't have to do big things to appreciate her as a friend. Just do a small thing. She's like, yeah, that could be a good thing. But a lot of people tend to, how would I put it? A lot of people tend to prey on that kind of attitude. In this
Right.
scene, when I like, why I'm saying this is because on the scene when Portia was kind of, they were asking Portia what happened between her and Shemia's friendship, how are they, and Portia was like, you know what, you guys shouldn't talk about it. We've talked, we've had our chat, and that's where we're going to end it. Did you see where Shemia was so happy in her confessionals? Like, oh, she kind of told off this girl. She doesn't want to talk about her friendship. I'm like, is she seeing something I'm not seeing? Because anybody with an eye, we know that Portia just didn't want to talk about Shemia. Not that she was trying to defend their friendship in front of those ladies. Portia didn't just want um to talk about the issue she had with Shemia. But she went to her confessional. I was like, oh, the ladies are, so, the way that she shut down those ladies. I'm happy that she's standing up for our friendship. I'm like, is this girl delusional?
Yeah, Shamia is gonna be Portia's friend to the end until Portia does something to offend her or truly embarrass her or deny her. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think Shamia has a good heart. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? I think she tries too hard to
exactly. She tries to
befriend.
please.
Yeah, she puts Portia's feelings ahead of her own, to where then Shamia breaks her own heart. Because she's given Portia too much credit, too much power, too much. say so. Look, the same thing I tell my kids, hey, the pen is in your hand. Are you going to let
Mm-hmm.
somebody else write your story? Or are you going to write your own story? You know what I'm saying? That to me is powerful. You know what I'm saying? You get one life, you live your life, and if somebody can fit in, fine. I'm not going to rearrange who I am to try and fit somebody else in. You see what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, the person that you're rearranging for, they are not going to appreciate it in the long run. So you might as well just go ahead and do you. Be happy. Have associates. You know, I look, I've learned over years not to have anybody real tight and close to me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I got secrets, government secrets or anything, but it's like, I've been betrayed. And, at this
Mm,
time and at this age in my life, I don't have time for that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So, hey, I'm always using that third eye and keeping my eye on people. I watch your body language, what you say, how you move. You know, I read your
Mm,
eyes. You know, and I'm not letting nobody get that close. But these are younger women. You know, so I guess that tightness of having a homegirl, your best friend. That's really important, I guess, at that age.
mm.
But I just think Shamia tries too hard, you know, and she needs to quit licking Portia's boots and stand up and be the
Exactly.
be the queen that she is. Shit.
Stand up to be her own self person.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
rich. She married a rich husband. What exactly are you chasing on Portia for?
Exactly. Portia's still trying to figure her shit out. You know.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is keep her from your house.
Ah, no, no, why? Ah,
Shit. Yeah, we be meeting in the streets. You wouldn't be coming to my crib.
oh no, no, not the streets. Why? Why?
Oh goodness.
That ain't fair. Not to Portia. That's not fair.
Well, like what's fair? What's fair? That's just like, hey, if you come to my crib and you see I done set my diamond ring down and walked away from it, you gonna pick it up or you gonna leave it there?
Mm,
You pick it up, you a crook. You just robbed me. You know what I'm saying? Portia picked up the big shiny rock, didn't she?
yeah,
Okay. She can't come to
yeah,
my
yeah.
house.
It's true. What you said
She
is
she
true.
can't come to my house. We not doing that.
Mm.
See, I got hands and I don't mind catching charges.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Um, but at least we were able to see Drew and Portia kind of apologize to each other about the Drew, the Dennis and Ralph stuff.
Right.
Hopefully, hopefully, we're not gonna hear about this again. Hope I am praying.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I hope not either, because if they're following the statistics out there, I heard they have a high rate of HIV out there.
Oh,
So they better be careful if that's what they doing out there.
I just hope I'm tired of the Dennis storyline. I hope it comes to an end. But do you see Drew? Because since Portia is kind of understanding that, okay, Drew and her might not be very close like they used to be, but at least she finally understands where Drew is coming from. Do you think that Drew and Shamia will ever get to that understanding? Especially after calling her a lapdog.
Uh, I think within time, as maybe Shamia starts kind of like falling back on Portia a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just fall back and just watch, you know, calculate. You know what I'm saying? Give it a little room, little space. You know, I think maybe once she does that and once a little time passes, maybe her and Drew could get to a space where they'll have mutual respect for each other. No besties, nah. I don't think that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
Shamia is just too flossy, flossy.
Mm,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
She's shining like a diamond. Okay? Shamia is
Yeah.
bad, girl. She's bad. From her
Mm,
clothes to her haircut to her crib to her lifestyle. That girl is doing it.
yeah.
Shit.
She's doing
I,
really
I
well for herself. Yeah.
yeah, I in a minute I want to name her Miss Housewife of Atlanta. Mrs. Housewife of Atlanta. Shit. Cause shit, she's doing the damn thing.
Yeah. Well, I hope that one day they will be able to settle their differences because I see no beef there. It's just inherited beef. That
Right.
that that is what I see, and I hope one day they will get over it. So I get for me, this is I didn't really watch anything apart from that. What is your expectation for next week's episode? Watching the preview, the trailer, the preview, whatever. Are you
Um,
anticipating? Are you waiting? Are you hoping?
Not really. I mean,
Not,
I,
not really.
I,
What?
I mean, while they're on the island, I guess, it'd be nice to like see some of the sights, see what there's to do out there. Hopefully they won't be getting into these same old dumbass conversations and disagreements, you know. I mean, like, get something out of it, show us something, if this is supposed to be about growth and recharging and, revamping and, like show us something. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that's all I'm waiting to see.
I'm just waiting. For me, I'm not really anticipating also, but I'm just gonna see how the episode go. I'm especially now we are, they've already started shooting for they've started taking questions. They very soon they'll start shooting the reunion. So,
Mhm.
yeah, let's just see how it goes. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on today's review. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you click on the subscribe button down below, subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts and opinion about what we said on this live. We'll see you guys same time next week. Have a nice day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.